Hey everyone, Suzi here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we're going to take a look at the Abyss 1 boss, and we're going to dive into some official tips and tricks. Oh, and literally the same day I was recording this video, this topic, coincidentally, they actually put in-game this whole Sauryan scale, everything you must know, which I'm pretty much covering in this video. So that was a perfect timing, apparently, for them trying to push some of this content and make sure you guys are noticing the Discord guide. So let's dive into a couple of these recent ones and end with a couple peeks at some other as well. Alright, when I say official, I mean the literal official post that the game has put out. I'm not trying to claim that I am any official expert or anything, and hell, I have not done the high tiers, the high rewards of this boss yet. I only do the 5,000 reward, I get like 7,000, and you know what? For now, I'm okay with that. Like, this is something that definitely is going to take some serious focus and regearing, and perfect min-maxing for me to come even close to these higher rewards. Even like tier 3, 22,000 reward, I don't see being very attainable for most accounts. Now maybe it's time to start diving a little bit deeper though. So first I'm going to give my just general thoughts and things I've noticed, and then we'll take a look at those official documents. So keep in mind, this boss has a lot to it, right? So it's so easy to forget the basics, and I'm guilty of forgetting the basics. So I think the first time I was doing it, I was like, I can't even get the first chest, and I was so frustrated because I forgot about something so simple. So I think, let me scroll down to, is it this Meteoric Deluge kicks your ass if you don't remember this very important thing. So it targets the unit with the highest HP on the battlefield and launches multiple meteors at them. When each meteor hits the ground, it deals physical damage to the target and nearby units while inflicting burning corrosion. Also triggers a shockwave, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is so important to make sure you only have like a couple people that can take the hits. You know, so you want your tank like Torador or whatever. Like, I'm trying to think what other people would be using besides, I guess literally people are using Regulus as the tank. Quite literally. Wait, are you surprised maybe to see a Regulus in Guild Wars? Like, how often, or guild content, how often do they make it to where a tank is the answer? To me, this is crazy to see at the very top ones here. But it's here, and it's a thing. So you literally could have Torador or a tank like Regulus as the tank to take that Meteoric Deluge. And then someone next to him, there's a reason Kagiri is so good for this boss. He can actually, if you pop his ultimate, he enters this sheath state where he, you know, he doesn't take the damage. He kind of can just, when receiving damage, blah, 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 and he enters this immune to all damage while casting. There's the wording. There it is. So it's awesome. So you can pop Kagiri's ult when the boss is about to do that, and he can handle it. And it's a perfect combination to have him next to a tank. So that was one of the first early things that I was like, ah, shit, duh. Let me adjust. I think the other things are honestly just, I don't know. I think it's all of its timing, right? There's a lot to consider here regarding when you're popping your ults. And I think that was the biggest part for me, is making sure everyone was ready. Having enough physical damage and enough magic damage in the team is really hard to balance. So you'll also see a lot of people using, I guess, can you see when they're using, doesn't show the last, or maybe it does. A lot of people are using friend units. So one of the tips, like, oh, there's no healer besides whatever, my only 2 healers, is that really enough? A lot of people are using like an Eloin as another like friend unit. Or Dao Qian, well, Dao Qian might not be the best, but like even just an Eloin as a friend unit, or even maybe a fair C2 would be a good shout to be able to put it on another DPS that's properly built for your team and for rotating with the different phases of damage for magic or physical. So this is one of those where it may not be always obvious just by looking at what people's team comps are. But look at this person with a freaking Ain. That is not Ain. Load. That's hilarious. That is so hilarious. You know, I wouldn't, and again, would I have thought to see an Ain in a 30,000k blood drop team? Well, not blood drop, whatever the hell these are called. No. Like, what? So just honestly, take the time to, I think that's another final personal tip from what I'm noticing is besides people, okay, so using friend units that are support so you can put in another DPS. Making sure your tank can handle the Meteoric Deluge along with one person at least next to them to soak up some of that. It's fine if there's someone who can handle it, like a Kagiri, that's okay, but being careful not to place any other units right next to them otherwise. And then, yeah, just look at what people are using, and maybe there's a quirky reason why, and trying to understand. I think it's been kind of fun to see what people are using. I really need to get my init involved. A lot of Volca A5s are being used as well, and my god, this game does not want to load anything today. But let me know, I guess in the comments below, I want to hear from you guys. Tips to help each other. Let's help each other learn to do this boss, right? What is the biggest tips that helped you dramatically improve your damage? If you're one of these people that are getting like what, 22,000 and higher, I think most people would be pretty happy with that because it's a hard boss right now. I think getting that middle reward and up, I'd be pretty happy with. What did you change that got you over the edge? Did you have to make sure your team was more balanced with more HP on some of the units? Or was it just a matter of making sure your healers were super well efficient at healing and keeping people alive and timing the ultimates for damage mitigation? Like what were the things for you that made you kind of push over the edge? All right, so now let's pull up some of the official guides and see what the tips and tricks really are. All right, we're going to start a little more recent, then show a couple older posts. So this one is from the 27th, and it's a hero recommendation, essential heroes. Okay, so in this guide, we will consider the recommended heroes for facing Sauron, Grimscale, and Abyss 1. The team should consist of essential roles: tank healers, burst damage dealers, inspiration supports, and damage reducers. So 1, the tank. We need a tank, preferably one with invulnerability. The following heroes are perfect for this role. So Torador, as the Lord of the Nightmare Council faction, Torador not only boosts the performance of his faction allies, but also excels at holding the boss's attacks on the battlefield. Regulus, ideal for the Watchguard faction. His ultimate splits 40% of incoming damage in his radius among allies, making him excellent for damage mitigation. And then Brokir, a universal tank suitable for various team compositions. He's one of the best survival rates in the game, and his awakened abilities make him incredibly durable. So an awakened Brokir. All right, healers and damage mitigation. So Eileen, a mass healer who reduces both physical and magic damage taken by allies by 15%. She has a large healing radius and significantly boosting survivability. So yeah, you see her in every team for a reason. I love that Eileen has really come into the content so heavily. I remember when she first came out, people were like, she's terrible. She just heals and that's it. There's nothing cool. She doesn't buff. She doesn't whatever. And now we're seeing over time how important damage mitigation actually is. And she's a top tier healer now. You don't have to be bummed when you pull an Eileen. I remember people always being disappointed when they pull her. But at the end of the day, she's amazing. And same thing with Pharisee. Pharisee was one of those disappointing pulls because you didn't really need them. You could just use a vortex instead or whatever. But the damage mitigation has become so key in so much content. So Pharisee, an indispensable healer who reduces AoE damage by 25%. His ultimate helps allies survive explosive damage and restores their HP quickly. Additionally, he grants 15% inspiration to 3 allies with the highest attack. And then another example, of course, is Dao Chen. She has her damage mitigation and healing with her basic starting form, and then you switch her to the inspiration form when the boss goes down and they do extra damage. She's amazing to be able to switch and do both. All right, burst damage dealers. These heroes are essential for breaking the shield as quickly as possible. Physical damage, we have Sun Wukong, Kagiri, Lucius, Twyla, Arrogance, and Setrim. And then magic damage dealers, we have Ingrid, Soul Cadence, Lord Phineas, Hex, and Lyra. Love it. I really want to start using my Lyra more as well. But Lord Phineas seems to be such a key in these high damage teams. He's someone that I need to bust out of my, I don't want to say vaults, but you know what I mean if you're a former raid player. Inspiration heroes. Okay, so we need heroes who inspire allies and boost their damage output. Dao Chen, one of the best long-ranged inspiration heroes. She grants 20% ignore defense and magic resistance to allies as well at A3 if she's A3. But yeah, she also brings that penetration increase as a buff. And they did fix her to where she's no longer, or did they on the main server? Or is that just a, was that just a Forerunner server thing? I can't remember now. But if she isn't already fixed, she will be soon. For the, putting penetration on a healer, she won't do that anymore. And then, of course, we have Dolores, efficient at inspiring allies. Though her placement on the field can be tricky, her radius is sufficient to inspire all heroes. For consistent ultimates and faster cooldowns, she needs her exclusive equipment. And then Constance offers strong inspiration with her exclusive artifact. She also heals allies during her ultimate, providing a valuable mix of support and utility. All right, and damage reduction heroes. Remember, some of these healers are also damage reducers. Keep that in mind as well. So Volca reduces the damage received by 30%. That's honestly something I completely don't think about with her. I think of her debuff she puts on the enemy to allow them to take more damage, but I forget about her damage reduction, so that's really helpful. For consistent performance, she needs her exclusive artifact and a team of 4 Nightmare Council allies. At 25 out of 25, her artifact provides stable damage reduction. Note, she doesn't need an amulet with attack speed as the main stat. Secondary stats are enough. And Lord Phineas also reduces damage, but requires his exclusive artifact. Oh, that's why I was like, he reduces damage? What? I didn't even remember that because it's his exclusive artifact. His basic attack reduces damage by 15%, and his Traitor's Blade applies additional 30% damage reduction. This composition forms a well-rounded team for defeating Sauron, Grimscale, and Abyss 1. Every hero listed plays a critical role, from frontline endurance to backline support, making this a versatile and reliable strategy for your team. All right, that was really good. I feel like just talking about those heroes might give you ideas for using other heroes that are similar but not quite there, but at least might get you in the, get you by in the lower stages. If you don't have a Kagiri and Sun Wukong, who are your replacements? That's what we have to figure out. Okay, so scrolling up here, there's been a lot of content. They've talked about Soul Cadence adjustments and how much better he is now for things like Abyss 1, which is really great to see, and how much better he is at, like, you know, enabling. And then over here, I want to keep scrolling just so you guys see the kind of content in case you're not one to be big on the Discord and all that. There was another little guide here. So this is like this is more of a basic guide. I'm trying to get that 5,000 points. So budget team composition, first chest clear strategy. So for those people that don't have all those crazy heroes that are limited. Recommended team setup. Team A, Twin Fiend, Imani, Eileen, Fersi, and Dolores. So this is good. Twin Fiend or Pyros kind of have that role. But of course, Twin Fiend with the Legendary Lord gives a bigger bonus to the team overall, but you definitely want that Twin Fiend A1. Otherwise, you should try Pyros probably, but that might not be enough for a team like for this. It might be pushing it when you're using someone like Imani as well. I don't know. But maybe you have a couple other people like Hex instead of Imani, for example. Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah. He'd be okay. And then Team B, Wrath, Volca, Salazar, Dryga, and Estrid. Now, Dryga is not a hero you see recommended very often, so that is super unique and interesting to see. Okay, keynotes. Eileen, Fersi, and Volca are the main source of damage mitigation. Dryga reduces damage by 20%, but Volca provides a stronger 30% reduction. Build a team with a balance of sustain, healing, shield breaking, and physical burst damage. So obviously, if like, okay, Team A, if you have a, or well, to be fair, that's mostly magic, but you could probably plug and play the other higher end heroes like Cetrim, again, Hex for that. Or down here, if you have Arrogance, he might come in handy a little bit more than even Dryga or Salazar, but they can be, Salazar is surprising, honestly, so I'm not surprised to see him, or Estrid, because Estrid is a beast. If you guys want to see Estrid used a lot and well, you should check out Odd1 Gaming's content on his free-to-play account that he's been playing since the challenge. He uses Estrid a lot, and she does insane damage. Like, even more than Ardea in a lot of cases, which is super weird, but true. Okay, core mechanics overview. The boss mechanics of Sauryan Grimscale is extremely difficult, or are. You must have equipment with HP bonus stats to keep heroes alive. If Eileen cannot keep up with healing, give her Tumultuous Horn legendary artifact. It's the best in slot for Taya's the best in slot is Taya's Balm. And then the boss skills, Drake Bellow, use Fersi's ultimate just before the cast to instantly heal and keep heroes alive. So it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of obvious. If you carefully watch the boss and see what skills are happening, and you die during a certain skill, like Meteoric Deluge, it's really important to figure out what you need to, of course, prevent that. So if you die during Drake's Bell with a big ol' AoE damage, make sure you pop someone with a damage mitigation ultimate right before that happens. If you die during Meteoric Deluge, you gotta make sure your tank can handle it and you don't have other people next to your tank that cannot handle it. So this says Wrath will be knocked out here. Not a problem. You can sell and redeploy Wrath after the Nightmare's Revenge phase. Okay, so this one is just being like, you know what? Let him die. It's fine. And then bring him back later. But then you're losing a whole DPS. But again, this is only a guide for 5,000 bare minimum damage. So they're just trying to help you get by. Fair enough. Positioning and damage timing. Place Twin Fiend and Imani in front of the magic shield to absorb early hits and enable healing for allies behind. Imani gains the following buffs upon deployment: plus 20% attack, plus 25% crit rate, and plus 30% crit damage for 25 seconds. Tactical execution. Salazar can dodge meteors using his ultimate. Timing is crucial. Redeploy Wrath after Nightmare's Revenge phase. Once the second shield breaks, wait for Dolores' ultimate, then activate Volca. Salazar and Estrid's ultimate for full team. Oh, sorry, activate Volca, Salazar, and Estrid's ultimate for full team physical burst. Yeah, that's really important. I would say Volca and Estrid, make sure that they have their debuffs first before you pop Salazar, but yeah, you want to use those heroes that do all those buffs or debuffs that allow the whole team to do more damage. And then scoring and victory conditions. How to break that 5,000 points. After breaking the second shield, unleash full burst damage. Successfully breaking the shield, surviving puts you at the first chest reward. And this is so true. This is what I do right now. I can't beat the third shield with how I have things set up right now and who I have built for this. At least in the gear that they're in. So I do that too. After the shield is down, just go full, or obviously first do the rest of the physical damage on that second shield, which is the first round of the physical damage. And then once that's over and the boss switches back to the magic form, boom, immediately just alts, go with your magic damage dealers. And let your physical damage dealers go again, especially if they're applying debuffs. And you'll get plenty. You don't need to take out the third shield or the second phase of the magic damage in order to get the basic 5,000. So important reminder, Sauryan Grimscale deals very high damage. Epic heroes struggle more and deal significantly less damage than legendary heroes. Focus on damage mitigation, healing, and efficient shield breaking to secure your run. Okay, so that was really good. I actually really liked this. It's a good reminder of the basics. And sometimes if you're struggling in some content, all you want to do is get by or I should say, first you want to just get by, right? And then you want to be like, okay, now how do I step it up? Sometimes it's good to just reread everything and look at different strategies. I mean, it's so common that a character or something comes out, a boss, you read all the skills, and then you start doing it and you just forget half the mechanics. Okay, let's give a super quick read of this one, all right? Guide, Sauryan, mechanics introduction. This one should be read first, to be fair, but all right, Ancient Bloodline versus Nightmare's Revenge. Only physical damage works on one, only magic damage works on the other. And then be ready with burst damage. In phase 1, they suggest Nightmare and Star Piercers. In phase 2, they suggest Infernal Blast, like Soul Cadence. In phase 2, they suggest Arbiters if you have Ingrid. Although she wouldn't be the Lord for that, but yeah, Kratos. Or whatever. All right, Drake's Bellow deals true damage based on the target's current HP and applies a burning corrosion. Deals continuous damage to targets and adjacent units. Reduces healing received and cannot be dispelled. So that's not, oh yeah, okay. And damage mitigation heroes, AoE healing is the key. Storm Surge, charged particles, hit all heroes at once, reducing healing and stunning for 3 seconds. Reduced healing for a few seconds, so survivability, and then pop your heals right after that's over. All right, follow-up AoE hits with continuous damage. Worm's Wrath summons waves of purple flames on the ground, dealing multi-stage AoE damage, absorbs flames to summon a fireball from the sky, and then targets the hero with the highest max HP. If no allies are adjacent, it's an instant kill. So this is why you can't just have one tank to absorb the damage alone. There has to be someone next to them that can handle a hit as well, which is why these heroes are suggested. Salazar, Kagiri, and Carnelian can be the ones to keep people alive or not die themselves. All right, Seismic Slam with the other one here. On to the other version. AoE ground attack. 3 consecutive slams. Ground units take heavy damage. Platform units take reduced damage. Recommended counters are using heroes with high damage reduction or group healing to boost overall survivability. And Meteoric Deluge targets the unit with the highest HP. Meteors fall in a 3x3 area and trigger a global shockwave. And apply burning corrosion, continuous damage, and reduces healing received. And the recommended heroes to deal with that, again, Kagiri, Salazar, Carnelian. And then special mechanic 1, Punishing Blow. Each time a hero is defeated or recalled, the redeployment time is increased by 30 seconds. This stacks with each additional redeployment. So you're not going to see Laurel strategies at high-end stages, or the idea of letting people die and redeploying them. You don't want to do that for much beyond the first round or 2. And then special mechanic 2, Transcendence, gains increased attack and penetration after each phase shift. The strategy is to deploy reduction heroes and equip HP or HP bonus gear. And then special mechanic 3, Dragon's Bulwark. Sauryan Grimscale generates a protective shield. If the shield is broken in time, enters a weakened state. If the shield remains, instant kills all heroes, just like the normal Drake's Chasm boss. And then recommended burst heroes are Hex, Soul Cadence, Kagiri, and Silas. Choose shield breakers that suit your current setup. All right, so that was a pretty good overview there. I'm gonna scroll to the little lore we had about the boss. I thought that would be a little fun read to finish off this long ass video. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out and watching. Let me know if you have any big tips in the comments below. And let's end with the lore. From the sacred heart of the infernal volcano emerges Sauron Grimskull, the shape-shifting drake, a terror from an ancient line once thought extinct, reborn from the ashes of the past. It slithers from the chasm cleaved by Valderon's sword, its twisted spirit reforged in forgotten flames, a harbinger of disruption. Sauron Grimskull shifts its form with unnatural ease, a fluid nightmare that defies all laws of nature. As this primal force claws its way from purgatory, balance in Taya once again teeters, twisting this land into a mausoleum of cinder and smoke.